Welcome back. Insulate Britain's band of eco-terrorists have paused their pathetic protest movement after 5 weeks of blocking ambulances, delaying commuters and disrupting children's education. They claim their retreat from the roadblocks is to give Boris Johnson the chance to give in to their demands. But maybe, just maybe, they realised how much the public hated them. And I think this could be the moment it finally hit them.
Push them! Push them! That's it! Push them up the road!
He's going to read you.
Push them up the road!
Wait, I'm not joking, my son needs to get to school.
Push them up the road!
Move out the way now!
She's going to
I'm
punch her up,
trying to
punch her
I
up!
can't get it, my son is 11 and he needs to get to
Punch
school!
her up!
My son is 11, he needs to get to school and I need to get to work! So move out the way then! Move out of the way and let me get my son to school!
Hey, look, that's it! That's it! Push her! Go on! Push her! Get out the road, you silly!
Someone needs to move them out the way! Move out of the way now!
Oh, it's beautiful to watch. I could watch it again and again. And you remember last night that I wanted to track down this heroic woman, so I made this plea to you. Sit in the middle of the road. That's probably going to happen. By the way, does anyone know that woman? Because she's a bit of a hero of mine. Please email me, dan@gbnews.uk. I want her on the show. That great Essex mum standing up for her son. Well, you're super sleuths, I have to say. It was actually someone who messaged me on Instagram. You pulled it out the bag, and I can say that Sherrilyn Speid is joining me now for the clash. Sherilyn, wow, what a moment. Tell me what was going through your head when you arrive at that roadblock and the Insulate Britain lunatics are stopping you getting your son to school.
I can't hear him.
Oh, Sherilyn, we're just going to try and get the sound back. We can hear you loud and clear. Just while we're getting Sherilyn back, let me tell you, this is fascinating. In a statement to us today from Insulate Britain, they said, we understand Sherilyn's frustration last week, and it is important we all recognise how fragile and close to the edge so many of us are. The recent study of young people last month highlighted how climate anxiety was affecting the majority of our youth, with most feeling sad, angry and scared when thinking about their future. We are asking the government for a statement we can trust, and we will be off the roads in a flash. Insulate Britain asks all responsible broadcasters to take caution and not to glamorise violence. Well, do we have Sherilyn back with us? OK, we're going to bring in Sherilyn in just a moment. But first, let me head to the climate columnist for The Independent, Donnachadh McCarthy. Donnachadh, we're just waiting to hear from Sherilyn, but I believe you have very strong criticism as to what she did.
Well, first of all, Dan, can I say how sad I am to hear you glamorise violence in the way you've just done it.
How did I glamorise violence?
Yes, you have. You've actually cheered somebody. You cheered and applauded somebody who carried out an attempted murder of peaceful people sitting on the ground.
Oh, come on. That wasn't an attempted murder, Donnachadh. And I'm sorry, if people sit in the middle of the road, what do you expect to happen?
When people stood in the middle of the road in Tiananmen Square, would you have applauded that tank rolling over that person?
Of course I would, because they were fighting for democracy. What are these idiots fighting for, Donnachadh?
They're fighting for a future for Sherilyn's kids. If you, as a responsible broadcaster, should read Chatham House report that was produced last week, a world-recognised authority commissioned by the Foreign Office under Dominic Raab, and the report said that we have a 1% chance of avoiding 1.5 degrees centigrade rise. The same week, the BMJ said that that would be catastrophic for global health. And secondly, the Chatham House report said that when Sherilyn's child is 30, the world would be facing a 50% chance of global food baskets failing simultaneously. Totally, utterly catastrophic for the civilization that child would be growing up in.
Donnachadh, I want you to stand by because I think we've got the sound sorted now with Sherrilyn Speid. Sherilyn, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Excellent news. So look, we'll come back to Donnachadh in just a moment, Sherilyn. But tell me what it was like for you when you arrived at that roadblock and you saw these Insulate Britain idiots blocking your route to school for your 11-year-old son. What was going through your head?
To be honest, I was absolutely fuming that they was in the road blocking me from taking my son to school and going to work. Like, how dare they have the audacity to think that that's acceptable to do something like that? I work for myself, I've got my own business. If I don't go to work, I don't get paid. Yeah, my son deserves an education, and I think it's completely wrong what they're doing. They're going about it all the wrong way. So.
And you tried to get them to move, didn't you? And they were not listening to you.
In a nice way. Yeah, I got out nicely and I said, no, can you please move? I've got to get my son to school. I explained my situation. They were actually rude, to be honest, and they laughed at me and said, yeah, everyone needs to get their son to school, don't they? And they laughed, and I couldn't believe it. There's different ways. There must be better ways that they can protest. I'm all up for change. I embrace change. I don't mind that. I don't mind protests. But the way that they're doing it is wrong.
Well, I completely agree, Sherilyn, because this isn't a protest, is it? It is criminal activity. And I think you should be applauded for trying to stop criminal activity.
I would, yeah. I would go as far as saying it's abusive, to be honest.
Do you agree with me, Sherilyn, that it's terrorism?
Absolutely.
Because the thing is, if this were a group of Muslim extremists or anti-vaxxers trying to block the middle of some of our busiest roads in Britain, I can't believe that the police would not be taking stronger action.
Of course. I heard that it took the police an hour and a half to get there anyway. You know, and it's just not fair what they're doing to normal people. And they're targeting parents because they're going outside schools and blocking roads, you know, at that time in the morning. So it's quite apparent what they're doing, and I think that that's wrong. I really do. I've had thousands of messages from single mums, single dads, you know, saying it's been difficult enough for everybody in the pandemic. People have lost their jobs, etc. And I just think that what they're doing, I just, you know, we're all trying to get back on our feet. And it's wrong it's just wrong.
I completely agree, and I think your action actually spoke for how we're all feeling. And what did you make of the fact that they actually called off their campaign so soon after you went for them? Because no one wants to mess with Sherrilyn Speid, I've noticed. Well, I've called it off for 10 days,
I didn't know that.
So do you think it was down to you?
Well, I feel empowered by that. And I'm standing up for all the other single mums out there as well, you know? So we're all trying to do our best. We're all trying to make ends meet. You know? They've got to stop. So.
Can I just tell you what Noel Gallagher, you know Noel Gallagher from Oasis? This is what he had to say about Insulate Britain today. He said, why can't they be legally run over? And he just described them as white middle-class idiots who need a kick in the B word and then thrown in the Thames. So he seemed to back what you were doing.
I think there's many people that are backing what I'm doing. I have had thousands and thousands of messages, you know, from people all over, you know, saying thank you so much for standing up for us. Someone needed to do it, and it just so happens that I've got the balls to do it.
How tempted were you, Sherilyn, to just go a little bit harder into those women?
I would never do that. I would never hurt anyone. I would never hurt anyone.
So you were trying to nudge them along to make the point, look, you've got to get off the road.
Well, they wasn't listening to me. When I tried to do it in a nice way, they completely ignored me. So my thinking was, OK, get in the car, sort of rev it a bit, nudge them a tiny bit. They wasn't hurt. All of that ow, ow, ow was all dramatic and it was fake. There's no way that could have hurt them. And just to try and move them along a bit. But then they still didn't move, even after that. And I literally got in the car and I just, well, lucky enough, some men helped me and got them out of the way, and then I got to get my son to school.
Sherilyn, is it true that Insulate Britain as an organisation have been trying to silence you today and stop you from appearing on GB News?
Yes, that's correct. They sent me a direct message just saying to me basically to not come on today and that they wasn't going to come on today either.
Isn't that shocking? Because they say, Sherilyn, they say that they believe in freedom of speech. And we offered them a platform to speak to the country and go head-to-head with you. Not only have they bottled it and refused to come on, they're also telling you not to come on and speak your truth. I mean, this organisation, they're a joke, aren't they?
Yeah, they're ridiculous. They don't want that smoke with me. Let's just put it like that. They don't want to come on and they don't want to have that debate with me. I was more than happy to have the debate with them today and tell them what I really think of them, to be honest. I was quite happy to do that.
What do you make of the fact, Sherilyn, that some of their leaders, some of the leaders of Insulate Britain, don't even live in homes that are properly insulated?
They just contradict everything, don't they, really? Like, you know, it's just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say, to be honest.
Well,
look,
unbelievable. Let me bring in the climate columnist for The Independent now, Sherilyn, Donnachadh McCarthy. And Donnachadh is brave enough to take you on. And Donnachadh, I believe you have some tough words for Sherilyn. So what do you want to say to her?
No, I've got some tough words first for you, Dan. You have just incited murder on this programme. It's a shocking statement.
Donnachadh!
You have just urged
Donnachadh!
Protesters. Dan Wooden, have you any heart or soul? I'm really stopped to do that on live TV. It is disgraceful what you're doing, Dan.
Donnachadh!
You are inciting people to carry out murder. Stop it, please, this moment.
I'm not for a single second suggesting that, Donnachadh. And if you heard from Sherilyn herself, she said that she actually was just trying to nudge them along. But these are people who are choosing to sit in the middle of a road, Donnachadh. So if you're sitting in the middle of a highway, surely you've potentially got to expect to be hit by a car. But don't you come on this show and say I'm inciting murder. That's revolting.
You have just incited people to drive over peaceful protests. That is murder in any book. And this lady, this woman is a mother of an 11-year-old. And she drove a car over seating peaceful women, two peaceful women. What an example to give to her child. And I'll say one thing to this woman. Please, you're a mother. Go home and read the Chatham House report that came out last week. I say when your child will be 30, this country will be facing global warming that threatens your child's future. It says there will be 50% chance of global food shortages, which will make your child's future absolutely horrific. And so, therefore, please wake up to what's happening.
Okay, well, can you let Sherilyn respond? Can you let Sherilyn respond? Sherilyn, what do you want to say to Donnachadh?
To be honest, I couldn't really hear anything he was saying. Is it a man? I don't even know. I couldn't really hear anything he was saying, to be honest.
Well, he has...
I heard something about murder.
I think you as a mother.
Something about murder, something about...
He has... So Sherilyn, he has suggested that both you and I were inciting murder of these protests. So I think it's fair that you defend yourself.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I think the clip speaks for itself. No one is getting rammed into, no one's getting run over, no one's getting killed, but you are playing with traffic. What do you expect people to do? We have had enough. You are in the middle of the road. You are in the middle of a road. Cars are going to come. I think it's quite simple. Get off the road, go and do a peaceful protest.
Donnachadh?
Yeah, my criticism was of you, Dan, and your encouragement of violence. To this woman, what I'm saying peacefully, is that she needs to do the research on what's happening to her son's future. Have you read the Chatham House report that says by 2050 we'll be facing global food shortages, 50% chance of all the food baskets in the world failing simultaneously? utter threat to that child's
Donnachadh,
future.
you're not listening. You're not listening. The point that Sherilyn is making is that by blocking roads, Insulate Britain are actually turning people like her off. If you listened correctly to her interview, she actually said she's not even opposed to change. But this is not the way to achieve it, is it, Sherilyn?
No, I embrace change. I'm all about change. You know, I've got nothing against that. I think that the method of using is wrong. That is the point I'm making. Can't you think of something else you can do? Like, I don't know, go outside the House of Parliament?
Which is legal. Sherilyn supports peaceful protests. I support peaceful protests. But I'm sorry, Donnachadh, I think it's utterly ridiculous that you can suggest that a bunch of people can walk into the middle of one of the busiest roads in the country and not expect to be hit by a car. It is a miracle. It is a miracle that none of these terrorists were killed. And I also would say, Donnachadh, that they could have killed motorists, Donnachadh. And there is a police investigation going on at the moment. Listen to me, Donnachadh, and I'll let you respond. Listen to me, Donnachadh, and I'll let you respond. There is a police investigation going on at the moment, Donnachadh, at this time, investigating whether a near-fatal accident was caused by Insulate Britain. There is also a woman who is believed to have had a very severe life-threatening stroke because she was stuck in a car as a result of Insulate Britain protests for hours. So there's only one group, Donnachadh, that is inciting violence, and it's Insulate Britain.
Well, that's completely untrue, Dan, because you have just incited violence repeatedly. However, what I would say to this woman is that 8,000 people die every year in Britain because of lack of insulated houses. 8,000 pensioners die. Have you ever, Catherine, had to choose between fuel and food on your table? Because over 5 million people in Britain choose because the government...
Okay, well, I'll give the final word to Sherilyn. I'll give the final word. 5 million people have to choose between food and fuel because the government has failed to invest in insulation. It is horrific. So, Sherilyn, Donnachadh is saying that thousands of people die in Britain every year because of poorly insulated homes, so seemingly it justifies their protests. Let me give the final word to you, Sherilyn. What do you want to say?
They just need to look at this again. What they're doing is wrong, and they need to just switch it up, change their methods. If they want to get more people on their side, they need to seriously think about it, because at the moment, everyone hates Jews. That's the truth. Yeah, so no one's going to be sticking by you, supporting your thing, because everyone hates you at the moment. So
Yeah.
do something else.
Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better myself. That was Sherrilyn Speid. Absolutely brilliant to speak to you. And the climate columnist for The Independent, Donnachadh McCarthy. A fascinating clash. Thank you both. Coming up, there's still time for you to make your voice heard in tonight's big question with the man behind some of our best